Structures are important in projects, and in this lecture I'll talk about the specification structure, which makes it possible to break down the project from a top-level benefit objective down to project deliverables. As a matter of fact, I'll show you two structures. One strategic structure that starts with the top-level strategic objects of a company and breaks it down to the deliverables of a strategic plan, which will be the projects. Then we take one single project out of this project portfolio and we start there with the benefits or the objectives of that project, and we break it down to the project deliverables. This methodology was developed by a Norwegian company called Ambition Group. They have gone international now and call themselves Value Miner. And as we see here, we have 4 levels in the structure. The top level, which is of course the top level objectives. Then we break that down into a second level, which is concrete goals. And we take it down to conceptual levels, and then we have the real things, the deliverables, at the lowest level in the structure. This kind of structure is very revealing. It frequently will show you that you may have top level requirements that are not reflected in any deliverable. You have branches that stop halfway through the structure. You may have deliverables at the lowest level that are not reflected upwards. Maybe there is no reason for them to be there. So you get an overall picture of the whole structure of your project. So we start the process with a blank sheet like this, and we have 4 different levels. And what these levels represent depends on the situation. In this case, we'll start at the very top level with the strategic objectives up on the top level, and what will be deliverables at the lowest level then will be the projects that we will establish in order to meet our strategic objectives. If we have a single project perspective, then we start with the top level objectives for the project, and the deliverables at the bottom level will be the deliverables that actually will be delivered from the project. So the scope of deliverables will be down here, but the overall picture can be seen by looking at all the 4 levels. So the strategic management team has come up with the 3 following top-level strategic objectives. They want to achieve delighted customers, happy employees, and satisfied owners. And then the next step is to set up some strategic requirements that will reflect the strategic objectives at the top level. And the 6 strategic requirements that the strategic team has come up with is short delivery time, good support, high wages, job satisfaction, empowerment to the employees, and high return of sales. Let's see how these relate to the 3 top-level objectives. So they all connect, and it looks so far as an hierarchy, but it doesn't have to be an hierarchy, as we shall see later. So we then move down to the strategic concept level, and then we have 8 bullet points. We have variance late in production process, we have short response time, we have good service, we have bonus for the employees, we have job training, flat organization structure, low direct costs as well as low indirect costs. And let's see how they relate to the strategic requirements on the level above. They all connect nicely together, And this is an example of a non-hierarchical structure where we see that high return of sales is connected both to flat organization, which also has a connection to empowerment, as well as to the two directly economical sides of the production, the direct costs and the low indirect costs. So then the big question is, how can we realize these concepts that we have set up here that again will perhaps fulfill our strategic objectives? And if we really think wisely about how to make a strategic plan and how to implement a strategic plan, we should set up several projects that relate to the requirements above. So let's see which project can we set up as main deliverables in this area. And these are the 7 projects that will represent our project portfolio that is needed in order to fulfill our strategic plan. So it's project training that will provide us with short response time. It's a project product platform that will make it possible to give us variance late in the production process, as well as reduce our direct costs and indirect costs. It's project BPR, business process reengineering, that may provide us with a flat organization. It's a project nonsense that seems to not connect with the above levels. It's project cost reduction that will provide lower direct costs as well as lower indirect costs. It's project increased job presence that will not only give us lower direct costs and indirect costs, but also indirectly give us increased job training. And we have finally project just for fun that seems to have no connection to any level above. Let us take a closer look at project increased job presence, because that's a project that we'll continue working with to actually come up with project deliverables. And if I look at how the connections are to this project and the levels above, I can select View Subchain. And I see that this is an important project because it has connection both to the top level objective happy employees as well as a top level objective satisfied owners. So let's take a look at project higher presence at work and start from the top, where the business goal, the top level objective, is simply higher presence at work. And let's move down to the challenge area, which actually represents the system requirements from the top level management point of view or the project owner point of view. Okay, then the project owner has come up with the following 3 requirements, top level requirements for the system. And that is that it should provide less sick absence, less play hooky, that is just being away from work with no particular reason, and more awareness when at work. And these 3 can be related to the top level goal as such by creating these 3 relationships. So the project manager and his team have then been working on the conceptual solutions that will solve the top-level requirements and which will be built into the system. And that is that somehow the system will improve the immune system of the employees, it will provide less freezing at work, and it will register absence. And then we have the following 4 relationships between the 3 conceptual solutions and the 2 top-level requirements. And we see that this is not necessarily an hierarchical structure, since less freezing at work is connected both to less sick absence as well as less play hooky. And we also see that, so far there has been no connection from the requirement from the project owner to any conceptual solution that will solve more awareness. So the project manager and the project team continues on with their work, and after some analysis of the 3 conceptual solutions, they have come up with 7 deliverables. So this would represent the scope of deliverables in the project. Echinacea recommendation, that's supposed to be good for your immune system. The flu vaccination program, thick socks for all, fancy bubble jacket, fancy belt, System X, and angry company doctor. Let's see how these 7 relate to the 3 conceptual solutions in the level above. We connect the echinacea recommendation to improve immune system as well with the flu vaccination program, and we provide less freezing by thick socks for all and fancy bubble jacket. Now the fancy belt seems to have no connection upwards. System X is connected to register absence, and angry company doctor obviously is something that the group just has come up with, and it has no connection to any conceptual solution, neither to any top-level requirement from the project owner. The fancy belt, well, maybe we can be a little bit creative and say that the fancy belt could be something that's equipped with a GPS and can be used in System X to detect absence or presence. So then we have tied all the pieces together, almost except for the angry company doctor that we can just delete. And we also have to confess to the project owner that, I'm sorry, but the more awareness requirement that you gave us, we have not been able to, at this point, come up with any conceptual solution, neither any deliverable for that. Then I do hope you've had some insight in all this, which is about specifying the project deliverables. And let me also add to all this that a project will always have a two-sided or a dual scope. One scope is a scope of deliverables, that's what we are delivering in a project. The other scope is a scope of work, that's what we're doing to deliver in a project. And of course, in a good project, we deliver as much as possible with as little work as possible. But unfortunately, in the project world, we tend to focus too much on the work scope and too little on the deliverables. And this may lead to a situation where we deliver not the best things for a lot of work, unfortunately.